15 years ago, I was told there was nothing left.
Who are you?
Explorers in the further regions of experience. Demons to some, angels to others.
Call you Meatloaf Jack.
Surprise, Sydney.
Come on, don't be chicken shit.
Hello and welcome to How I Met Your Monster, the show where we discuss the introductions to your favorite movie monsters. I'm Zach.
I'm Danny.
And I'm Casey.
You guys, it's the start of spooky season.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Have you guys been to Spirit Halloween yet?
Only in spirit.
I went. I tried to go. The website told me that it was opening in September. So I went. I drove the 25 minutes to the mall here. And that was the day before Labor Day. And it opened on Labor Day.
Oh, no.
Who opens on Labor Day?
Yeah,
No.
that's stupid.
So no, I have
Yeah.
not been to Spirit Halloween yet.
Man.
Have you seen the trailer for the movie Spirit Halloween?
Mm-hmm. That
No.
looks fun.
Casey's
About-
like, say I know.
It's about like these kids that get trapped in a Spirit Halloween store, like
Okay.
overnight. And I think there's
Yeah.
like maybe like a gate to hell or something. Danny, am I on the right track?
I actually didn't watch the trailer. I just know it exists.
Okay. Okay.
I was like, well, we're talking about it. I may as well mention it.
Well, yeah, they get trapped in a Spirit Halloween and shit goes down.
Shit goes down.
More like the prices go
I want to. No, Bruce Campbell's not in it. He was in that other one,
Yeah, that was the
Black Friday.
Black Friday, yeah.
Yeah.
With Devin Sawa.
Oh, Christopher Lloyd. That's who's in this one in Spirit
Oh,
Halloween.
my
Christopher
gosh,
Lloyd.
he's-
Yeah.
He's so old.
Mm-hmm. No, but today we are going to get into some urban legends
Yeah.
because we watched the movie Urban Legend.
This is just the movie Legend with Tom Cruise and Tim Curry, but it's set in the city.
Oh my.
So it's Urban Legend.
Oh, wow.
Not.
I'd like to see
Legend.
that.
They're actually rebranding the original as Rural Legend.
Rural Legend. That's a hard word for me to say.
Rural?
Rural.
Urban Legend. This
Yes.
movie I haven't seen in at least 16 years.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I
since
thought
high
you were
school.
recommending it because it was like kind of a go-to.
No, I just haven't watched it in a while, and I've been thinking about it recently for some reason. I don't know why. I've just keep randomly thinking of Rebecca Gayheart over the last couple months. What's she up to? I don't know. So, so I don't know why I've been thinking about this movie and how I haven't watched it in such a long time and how I really want to. And to be honest, I feel like this movie is very underrated.
Totally. I'm with you.
I love this movie. And I went to Rotten Tomatoes, and of course, they hate it.
Oh,
Remember this conversation
course
we
they
had
do.
last time?
I fucking
hate it.
hate them.
I don't know why,
They don't know what they're talking about.
but they do.
Collectively, they don't.
Yeah.
Man.
So
The only regret I have is that we didn't get to watch this movie together because this is like a fun group watch movie.
Yeah.
every jump scare that was supposed to happen definitely happened.
They
That is
gotcha.
for sure. Oh yeah, I jumped like 5 or 6 times in this movie.
Oh, great.
Really?
Like how many more can they? Oh my god! You know, like
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
yeah. oh my
No,
God.
it's fun. I watched it during the pandemic, during when we were stuck
Yes.
at home. So that was just like 2 years ago. And so
Yeah, 2 years ago.
was it 2 years ago? Holy shit. And so I really didn't want to watch it again, but I really enjoyed it watching it. Actually, once it started, I was like, ooh.
I watched it fairly recently because it was part of one of our franchise rewatch, or not rewatches, but our franchise watches with Jimmy.
Oh,
So we did Urban Legend 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've never seen any of the other ones.
They're there.
Not as good. Okay.
No offense to the filmmakers.
It's not where it needs to be.
No, there's some fun moments. I liked where there were, I don't know. There's only so much you can do with it. It's, like just playing with urban legends and there's a killer.
Yeah.
There are a few like moments that are really fun. But then again, like the budgets clearly weren't there in
Mm.
the sequels that were there in the original one, so you can only do
Sure.
so much. So I give them credit for what they did, but the only thing that's like super frustrating, or not super frustrating, but that stood out is that I remember someone telling me that part 3 is surprisingly really good.
Mhm.
So I was like, oh my God, my expectations were so high. And I wasn't the
Ugh.
biggest fan. I liked the concept was fun. They open up some supernatural territory.
Okay.
So it was like, you may as well. But the execution wasn't, I don't know.
So did this one not get the box office? Like, was it a flop?
It's a great question.
Because
feel
I
like it
wonder,
was a
like,
success.
if like the budgets and stuff were lower for the sequel, I wonder.
I think the problem, and I could be wrong, but my guess would be that this was 98. So this was sort of the 90s post-Scream slasher craze was already kind of starting to kind of, trickle away. And
It only took 2 years. I thought that this movie was made because of Scream, and I know you did that summer and shit.
well, this would have been, what's funny is because like we didn't even get a Scream 3 until 2000. So you'd think that people would have been like eating this up, and maybe they did, but in terms of like what movies were being greenlit, I don't know if it was enough to sort of, I don't know, justify like, basically equally budgeted sequels.
Right.
Was this around the time of like Valentine?
That's actually the same director. I think Valentine was 2000. Was it
Of
not?
Urban Legend?
Yeah, Jamie Blanks.
Cool.
But I follow the director on Twitter, and he seems like one of the sweetest people you could ever hope to meet.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's very proud of this movie. But I'm on. Okay, let's see. Urban Legend. Its domestic run, it made about 38 million. Internationally, 34. So worldwide, 72. So I mean, it made money, but compared to Scream, it's like not as big. So I'm sure like studios are probably like, maybe we don't want this anymore, because that was like right before, like a couple of years before, I guess, the big zombie craze. Well, what was between that then? Because from 98 to like 2001, 2002.
Early 2000s. Did the Underworld movies come out in early 2000s?
I think that was 03, was it not?
Or was it like The Haunting?
Oh yeah, maybe we were getting more supernatural.
Oh yeah.
Or
remakes.
like 13 Ghosts, maybe?
Oh yeah.
House on
right.
Haunted
Ghost
Hill.
ship.
Yeah, I think we were getting supernatural, like a lot of remakes. 13 Ghosts, Haunting.
House on Haunted Hill.
Yeah.
Did you already say
that
that?
was 99,
Yep.
so that makes sense. So I think they were getting a little campier, I guess, a little crazier.
I used to love
And a
those
little more
movies too.
ghosty.
I haven't watched them since high school either, so I wonder how
Same.
those movies hold up.
House on Haunted Hill?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
No.
Really?
No.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I thought James Wan's Malignant from last year kind of felt like one of the, like that movie came out in the post Scream, like that kind of like those few years that we're talking about, like the supernatural, even kind of aesthetically feels like that, like a little campier, a little gross, doesn't take itself too seriously.
Yeah.
Man, I loved that movie, Malignant.
I still haven't seen it.
So good.
The Ring also came out in the early 2000s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was 02. Yeah, I wonder what that would be. Because, they were remaking a lot of
movie.
Japanese horrors. Yeah.
Yeah, The Grudge.
And they did Ju-on. What is Ju-on?
That's The Grudge.
The Grudge.
The Grudge. That's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like they were doing like remakes of kind of like classic movies from the 60s, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of being like, well, how can we, how do we,
Add a
what's
little
the term I'm
pizzazz. We'll
looking
steal Japanese
yeah,
stuff.
where else can we take from,
Yeah.
basically?
Yeah.
I love The Ring.
Yeah, it used to scare me for real. Make me feel like, ugh. And then one time, my friend Kree and I used to watch it all the time, and a group of us were watching it at her house. Her brother randomly called the house. This is to my knowledge. He randomly called the house and said 7 days. Like, he didn't even know we were watching it, but maybe it's just because we were watching it all the time. And he just thought that it would be funny. We were freaked the fuck out. We were so scared.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
funny because like back then, clearly streaming wasn't a thing. So like you had to be
Right.
watching it on I don't know, was it DVD was a thing then? But
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was
probably
DVD.
still like getting DVDs were still probably like reaching their peak. So you most likely actually watched it on VHS, which just adds
so
that little
funny.
bit of like, oh, I actually did put a tape in here.
It was really scary.
Okay, but before we get into urban legend for real, I want to get into spooky season because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, right when this movie started, the creepy music came on, which ended up I saw in the credits it's Christopher Young, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, oh, like as soon as the music started, I was like, it is spooky season.
It is.
Here we
spooky
are. This is
season.
awesome.
Rainy, cozy,
Yep.
spooky.
So I'm excited to talk about this, but as always, what'd you guys watch?
So as far as watching, I haven't watched any horror, but I watched something that is associated with one of the greatest film trilogies ever, and that is The Rings of Power. I started watching.
Ooh.
So
How is it?
I love it. I think it's great. I had to check to see because it's like different cinematographer for every episode, but the first two
okay.
episodes they did such a great job capturing like the feeling is exactly the same as watching the original Lord of the Rings movies. So I was like checking
Nice.
if it happened to be the same cinematographer. It wasn't, but it's so good.
Which is kind of more impressive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it's
was
not.
really amazing. They captured the feeling really well, and a lot of people are really upset about it, but they're just being fucking.
Everyone's upset about everything.
Right.
Dude.
I can't handle it.
I'm
anymore.
like, I can't even. I mean, have you guys heard about what people are upset about this?
Well, I
I've
know
heard a
that they
few
like
things.
there was a black character or a black actor
Yeah.
cast as like a hobbit or something,
An elf.
an elf,
He's an
and
elf.
people are losing their fucking
Yeah.
minds, and it's like
I
what?
can't even. I'm like,
Such a
It's so
boring
stupid.
take.
It's just so
like,
stupid.
Fuck off.
well, I know, and it's like, well, read the book so he described him in the book. I don't care how he described him in the books. It doesn't matter. Those were written when everybody was fucking.
Yeah.
Everybody was racist anyway.
Yeah.
Of course, he's not going to
Right.
talk about black characters in the story. First of all, second of all, it doesn't change. Like just because he's black, it doesn't change the integrity of elves and the character of elves and how wise they are and how beautiful they are, and you know what I mean. Like it doesn't have anything to do with who they are. So I don't know why it matters. It makes me so upset.
They're just racist. I'm
know.
tired of like
Yeah.
trying to explain or figure people out anymore.
Yeah.
People are either just jerks.
Right. It doesn't
or
matter. Even if
racist,
the
Right.
book described
or-
them as light-haired, fair-skinned who gives a diddly
Yeah.
fuck that has so little to do with anything.
Yep.
Anyway.
Open your minds.
Yeah.
But
Shut your
on
mouth.
top of that,
Be
on
nice.
top of all that, just being obviously like you guys are idiots, just be kind to everybody.
Mhm.
On top of that, I think I read somewhere that like they are described in the book as like having darker skin.
No, those are Harfoots. Harfoots are the Hobbit predecessors.
Oh, Harfoots.
So Harfoots
man.
are dark skinned.
I'm always mixing up my Harfoots and elves. Always.
Harfoots and elves and hobbits. I know you had no idea.
It's tough for me.
so-
I mean, I grew up in a house of wizards, and so we didn't have elves or hobbits
that-
or
but-
Hargroves around. Hargroves? What are they?
Harfoots.
Harfoots?
But Gandalf is a wizard and he hangs out with all of those people. So what are you even talking about?
Well, we didn't associate with Gandalf because he was like couldn't fit through our door because he was like super tall.
No,
Wait.
Gandalf's like regular size. Hobbits are really small.
Oh, he goes in the hobbit hole and like he has to duck because the hobbits are
Yeah.
short. Never mind.
Yeah.
Zach,
Yeah.
you don't even go here. Quit posing.
Okay, well, there was a debate a few episodes ago about what was going to be better, House of Dragons,
Yeah.
or
House of the Dragon.
House of the. That's like a Bruce Lee movie. House of the Dragon. No, that's Enter the Dragon. Anyway,
House of Gucci.
House of Gucci. What was going to be better, House of Gucci Dragons or The Ring? What's the?
The Ring.
Rings of Power. Rings of Power Rangers.
It's a
Rings
spiritual
of Power
sequel to The
Rangers
Ring.
or what's the other one?
Enter the House of the
Power
Dragon.
Enter the house of the Enter the House of the Gucci Dragon, or or The Rings of Walker,
The Power
Texas
Rangers.
Ranger.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say that one's not good enough because the other one got so extensive.
Okay, so anyways, what's better?
I haven't watched House of the Dragon yet.
I watched House of the Dragon.
I know you went through all of that, and I haven't watched it. And
Yeah. I didn't. It's funny, not for any reason other than we just were probably doing something. We didn't finish Lord of the Rings yet, but I enjoyed it. But I
Yeah.
did watch the first 2 episodes of House of the Dragon, and I like it. It's also getting some criticism, but more in regard to sort of the intensity of like how some characters are being portrayed and like abused, and
Oh,
the kind of nasty business that they have to sort of wade through.
business.
It is pretty tough to watch. It's pretty violent and cruel.
Mm.
I also have a real life spooky. Since I didn't watch any horror movies, I did something really spooky.
What'd you do?
I went with my brother's wife. She's also my friend, but we went and did a paranormal tour of Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum.
Ugh,
Where's that?
that sounds.
It is a haunted
scary.
mental institution in Weston, West Virginia.
Oh man.
Yeah. I know, Zach, that your mom is like super into paranormal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But have either of you ever experienced it firsthand?
Yes.
No.
Yes. Okay. Then you would understand, Danny, like when there's a change, like it just feels different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we did this paranormal tour from 10:30 to 12:30, 10:30 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. And the place, 250,000 square feet. It was built in the 1800s after the First World War. It was finished being built. It was meant for 250 patients, but it usually housed between like 2,000 and 3,000. So it was super
Jesus.
overcrowded all the time.
Oof.
And there were lots of murders that happened there between patients themselves murdering each other. They did electroshock therapy. They did hydroshock therapy. They did lobotomies, like all of this ridiculous stuff there. So the patients were mistreated. A lot of them were mistreated. So the first floor is renovated to look like it was when it had just finished being built in the 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really weird just to go in there and think about how beautiful that place was when it was built, and that it was meant for something so great, but like done terribly wrong. And you could be institutionalized back then for literally anything.
Yeah.
Like just for being a woman. If your husband wanted to get rid of you, like one on the list, it was like reading too much was one of the things
Oh my God.
that you could be committed for.
Whoa.
So lots of stuff. So we were touring and we did a couple of things. We went to this random place and we were trying to contact this one spirit and it wasn't working. And then we went up to this bathroom where he had out one of those readers that changed colors and stuff like that. And he had dowsing rods, which apparently work off of like energy or whatever. And honestly, and I'm not a skeptic. I'm definitely a believer. I've experienced this stuff before. But I wasn't like, none of that seemed like, ugh, I was just like, oh, I'm not getting anything from this really.
Mm-hmm.
We went into this room where these 2 men had murdered a patient. 2 other patients had murdered one of the patients. They tried to hang him with his bed sheet and it didn't work. So they basically like rammed the bedpost into his head and killed him.
God.
And that room was like, we didn't do anything special in that room, but it felt a little bit different. And it was pitch black in there. They didn't have lights on or anything.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, we could use flashlights if we wanted to get around. But, half the time we had them on, half the time we didn't. So we went up to the 4th floor, which wasn't renovated at all. And he just had us sit along the walls. And there were 8 of us on the tour plus a tour guide. So he had us sit 4 on this wall, 4 on the other wall, and then he sat on the wall across from me. I was on the end. And, obviously it was like super dark. There's like paint chipping everywhere, whatever. So he just had us sit there and listen. He said they're always really active up here for some reason. So we sat there for a few minutes and we started to hear footsteps and people walking and banging on pipes. And he would like whistle and then they would like do things back, like,
Ooh.
pound on the wall, or sounded like at one point they moved furniture, stuff like that. We saw shadows, and we were all seeing the same stuff, you know what I mean? So it wasn't like, because somebody would point at something and whatever. So the whole time this is happening, there's like a vent next to me on the wall, so I'm feeling like cold air on my arm, like a little bit of a breeze on my arm. There was another tour in the building. They were 2 floors below us, and I could like hear, I didn't know what they were saying, but I could hear people talking. So, trying to not pay attention to that, pay attention to what was going on around me. And that was it. So we went back to our hotel. We actually went back the next day to do just a historic tour during the day so that we could see what it looked like with the lights on.
Yeah.
That was really cool. It was nice. It was, to get more information. It was neat. And then we went up to the 4th floor, and there are no vents on any of the walls. So
what the fuck?
Yeah. So, I was kind of like, the night before, I was kind of like freaked out. I was making up excuses for why I was feeling this cold breeze, and I was able to hear somebody whispering to me. Liz and I went up there, and she's like, yeah. So we were sitting right here, and there's no vent. There's no vent on any of the walls.
Oh my
So,
God, that's great.
Yeah, my brain was like making up excuses, and yeah.
That's
I got chills
crazy.
immediately.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking, I was like, ooh.
Oh, that's
wow.
awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. But we're going to go back in the spring and do the 8-hour overnight tour. You just get
An
to spend the night
overnight tour. Oh shit.
Do you spend the whole night up, like awake? Is that the goal?
there. 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. Yep. You get 2 hours on each floor.
Oh shit, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was my real life horror.
Man, well that's cool.
Who needs a movie when you got the real thing?
It was so cool.
Right?
I can't wait to go back. All right, Danny, what did you watch other than Enter the House of the Gucci Dragon?
Nothing. But
Oh,
actually, I do have kind of a similar take that you have, where I didn't watch anything, but I experienced something that is kind of relevant. Cody's birthday was 2 days ago. So we spent a couple nights in Santa Cruz, and we went to the Santa Cruz boardwalk where they filmed
I've been there.
The Lost Boys and Us.
Mhm.
So I felt pretty cool. Just kind of,
Yeah,
Zach, you
that's
said you've
awesome.
been there?
Uh-huh.
Right on.
Yep.
It was a good little, it was fun. It was hot. No vampires,
Damn.
but it was very, it was cool. It was cool being in that space. You could really feel that vampiric energy, really wafting through that thick summer heat.
Well, that's fun.
But yeah,
That's
that's all
a
I
fun
got.
trip. Are you guys ready to meet the monster?
yeah.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Let's
Let's
do
freaking
it.
do it.
Let's
Yeah.
freaking
Fuck on
die.
that. How's that?
One of the things that I had forgotten about this movie is that Robert Englund is in it and that Jared Leto is in it.
Guys,
Yep.
the cameos in this movie, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Like, I love Scream.
Oh,
and they have
and-
some really great cameos, but this one takes the cake.
And Brad Dourif.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, I had no idea, when I was in high school, like I liked Child's Play and Chucky and stuff like that, but I never realized that was the same person.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and
Amazing.
Danielle Harris, a horror icon.
Yep.
Oh,
From
is she the one that's in
Halloween.
like Hatchet? Yeah, and she's in the Hatchet 2 and
Tosh.
3 and Victor Crowley.
I haven't seen those
Yeah.
ones.
What's her name in Halloween?
She's Jamie.
Jamie. That's it. Jamie.
And then she's also in the Rob Zombie
The Rob
ones.
Zombie ones.
Is she Annie or Linda?
I don't know.
I want to say she looks like an Annie.
She does look like an Annie, doesn't she?
Mhm.
But her half of the dorm looks a lot like my house.
Casey made a cameo. Casey was inspired by Danielle Harris's character.
That's
in this
right.
movie. She just didn't realize
right.
it. You're like rewatching. You're like, wait a minute, I have that.
Wait,
wallpaper.
that's where I got this
Sure.
from.
I love this song.
Yeah.
Turn around every now and then. I get a
Every now and then I fucking fall apart, and I need you now tonight. That's all I was thinking of when she was saying that.
Oh, more than ever.
Okay, but like, how iconic is this opening scene?
Mm-hmm.
Even if the movie itself is underrated, this scene like just is. You can't. There's no denying that this is a great opening scene.
It is very good.
Well, the great
Very
thing
good.
about it is, I mean, literally just based on the title, is all the kills we're getting and all the setups are based on urban legends that already exist. So in a way, they're by just like the whole point of the movie is that they're not being original,
No.
but they still
Right.
deliver on it in sort of, I don't know, they're very successful in basically taking literally an unoriginal idea because it's already been done to death, so to speak, and yet still making it exciting and surprising because that whole opening scene is like, obviously the twist is the urban legend, but you should anticipate that because the setup is the same as the setup in the original urban legend of a person driving alone, and it's not like we're not focused on the back seat ever. And I mean, Brad Dourif's character, the gas station attendant, literally glances into the back seat. He's like, they're setting it all up. They're like putting it all out there in the open, but they do it in such a way that very cleverly misdirects you.
Yeah.
And like you said, ends up creating this like really classic opening.
Yeah, so that's the first time we meet the monster, kind of. We don't know who it is yet.
No.
Right.
We do know they enjoy parkas.
Yes, they love a
So giving his character like a stutter, like if his character didn't have a stutter, it wouldn't have worked.
Right, because he could have just told her.
Ma'am, there's someone in the back seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he even had to, like, he knew that he wasn't going to be able to get it out, so he even had to try and get her into the store.
Yeah, he had to
So
play
that he
cool.
could tell her, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great setup. And Brad Dourif's delivery, like the way he does the stutter, feels so natural.
It really does.
Because he is like anxious. So like, I feel like someone who does maybe stutter might be a little bit, in that situation, might have more trouble getting their words
of
out
course.
because of the stress and the anxiety. So
Yeah,
it
just
feels like it
perpetuates it.
actually it motivates like his, like the fact that he's stuttering maybe more so.
Yeah.
Right. But here's a question. Here's a physics question. Did you guys take physics in high school?
No, I graduated in algebra concepts and skills because I didn't apply myself.
Okay.
I aced physics. No, I didn't. I was an idiot. I'm not good at math at all.
If you're driving a car
Physics,
down a road,
math, I don't know.
if you're driving a car down a rainy road, right?
Yeah.
And you're driving you're getting away from a...
You're driving along.
Oh my God.
Pipe down. Daddy, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Now let's see what happens when you're driving with the other guy's brake pads. You're driving along, and all of a sudden the kids are yelling from the back seat, I gotta go to the bathroom, Daddy. Not now, damn it. Truck tire. I can't stop. Help! There's a cliff. And your family's screaming, oh my God, we're burning alive! No, I can't feel my legs! In comes a meat wagon! Woo, woo, woo. And the medic gets out and says, oh my God! New guy's in the corner puking his guts out. All because you want to save a couple extra pennies.
So you're driving along, you're driving away from this scene that like you just got like, you thought you were getting attacked and this whole thing. And you're probably driving like 60, 70.
I know where this is going.
I'd say 65 tops. 7 miles
7 miles
per
per hour. And usually when I pull people over, they park on the shoulder. Oh my God.
Okay, so you're driving down the road, you're going 70, you get your head sliced off, right? What happens to the car?
So what I usually do is I I pumped the brakes, I put it in park, and I stopped the car immediately.
There are a lot of other things that come into play here.
In regard to the car stopping?
Well, there just are. What else is around? How fast was she really going? I mean, she had already gotten away from him. Was she still driving 60 or 70 miles an hour?
That's fair.
You know, how fast? Maybe she was coming to us. Maybe she was smart. And when she was coming to a stop sign, that's when she cut her head off. We don't know. You know, we didn't see the outside. Who knows? There's so many things.
2 points. One, it could have been, yes, in terms of physics, if she had been driving and that happened, that our urban legend killer, spoiler alert, Brenda would have gone bye-bye through that windshield, I think.
Yeah. But what if Brenda scurried up there just as fast as she cut her head off and slammed on the brakes with her hands?
Just like a whole
with her
scene.
face.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Thank you guys for this explanation.
You're so welcome.
You just like put more truth into my conspiracy theory. So
we'll
get to it.
I could see someone kind of justifying what happens based on the fact that it is very rainy out. And like Casey, you had said, she did already get away. So maybe she was kind of slowing down, panicked, kind of like, you know, finding her footing. And again, with the rain, all of that. So then by the time she saw someone, she could have stopped in a panic. You know, maybe she was about to go run and then the axe came.
I'm sure that when she saw her in the back seat, she wasn't still driving 60 miles an hour. You know what I mean?
No, she was though. Because she's driving, she looks in the mirror.
You know what? Let's go back and let's look at that speedometer.
No. Oh, are you watching it right now?
Yeah.
There you go. See, this is the kind of like dedicated, motivated work that we are putting into this. We are investigative reporters figuring out the truth behind the monsters in these movies.
That's right.
This movie is so fun. The director seems so pleasant, and everything here works so well. And it doesn't need to, because it is, you know, again, like we were talking about it being that sort of like post-Scream slasher. It didn't have to be as like clever and creative as it was and fun.
Sure.
But it was. So for all of that, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt and say that she stopped the car.
Okay.
She's not driving that fast.
She's not?
No.
Okay.
There's no speedometer, but she's still not driving that fast.
Okay. All right.
And it's raining very hard.
Casey is deep into this scene right now.
Detective Casey on the scene.
It's so good.
It's like the JFK assassination. We're like, rewind, go back. Okay. Zoom in.
But anyway, I thought that this movie was, I really liked the story of it. Like how they connected it all back. And even though her boyfriend clearly was not a senior in high school and he was definitely in his 30s, I really liked I really liked the story.
That's so funny.
Okay, well, I have a few questions about this. So,
sure.
Okay. Why does Brenda put so much like effort into tormenting Natalie?
Yeah.
But like with, what was her name? Michelle?
Michelle Mancini, yeah.
How she killed Michelle and then
she just kills her, and she doesn't like toy with her or anything like that. But then she goes on like this whole thing to get. Do you get what I'm saying though? Like
I get what you're saying. You'd almost think if
they were both driving the car that ran them off the road, ran her boyfriend off the road. So like, why does she get all the hell?
Well, I think that Brenda is upset because Natalie isn't taking any of the blame because she wasn't driving the car. So Natalie is like, no, it wasn't my fault at all. I had nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? Like,
well, you almost think, I feel like it should have, but I could see how it, as from the killer's POV, kill Natalie first to kind of like mess with the person who is fully responsible, and Michelle would.
But they weren't friends anymore.
Well, I was gonna say, but even beyond that, like by the end of the movie, I think they have Natalie as the lead to make her more sympathetic, to kind of say like she didn't really do anything. You know, she's still the good person.
And it would Also look a little suspicious to kill two people that were both involved in the accidental, like, vehicular manslaughter of somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially since it's common knowledge that
might be
Dean
like,
and all them pull all that up.
Yeah. Be like, interesting. These two were both involved in this thing, and now somebody's killed them both. Who could it be? Probably the girlfriend of the boy that they accidentally killed.
But wasn't she going to kill Natalie anyways? So
yeah, but not one right after the other. There's a bunch in between that just so happen to all be part of the same.
And then it would just be like, oh, coincidence.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the fact that they were going to frame Wexler, Professor Wexler, if she had just killed the two, it would have been two. Like, well, he clearly didn't do it. Like, that's two.
Yeah.
Unless I don't know. I guess you could look at it from a lot of ways because you could argue that, like, she was like, well, he taught a class on urban legends, so why not just kill Natalie and Michelle, who got someone killed through an urban legend like prank.
Right.
But then you could almost go even further and be like, well, Brenda was clearly a little cuckoo,
Cuckoo.
because she kind of took it so far. Like, well, my boyfriend died as part of an urban legend, so I'm just going to kill a bunch of people through urban legends.
I love it.
Yeah. I think she's just a little unhinged. So it's hard to justify anything.
I can't think of a better time during this conversation. I'm looking into the future and seeing this conversation, and there's not a better time to bring this up. So I'm just going to do it. It is time for the How I Met Your Monster conspiracy theory of the week.
Oh my God, hit it.
You're telling me that NASA is going to kill the President of the United States with an earthquake.
Not exactly the kind of thing a Secret Service agent can just throw himself on top of.
The whole Vietnam War was fought over a bet. Howard Hughes lost to Aristotle Onassis.
This is our third issue this year. Conspiracy theory.
Okay, buckle up. You guys got your seatbelts on?
Hold your butts, everybody.
Hold on to your butts.
Hold on to your butts.
Okay.
I'm holding my butts. I'm holding both cheeks.
Okay, so you're just suspend your disbelief for a moment.
Be your inner Julia Roberts.
David Evans is the name of the Brenda's boyfriend who gets killed in the car wreck, right? Very close to somebody else we know named David Egan, who got killed by a vengeful father in I Know What You Did Last Summer. So, David Evans was killed in a car crash.
Sure.
David Egan was also in a car crash that killed his then girlfriend.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you following?
I'm there.
Barely.
David Evans' girlfriend was
man.
David Evans' girlfriend was Brenda. We know this. She was in the car with David Evans when he crashed. And her name at that time was Susan Willis. Okay. And we've already discussed the fact that even when she is in the back of a moving car chopping somebody's head off and the car crashes, she knows how to get out of a car quickly.
Can react.
She can get out of that
Been
situation.
there, done that.
So she fled the scene, right? Susan Willis, aka Rebecca Gayhart, fled the scene
as herself
of the David Evans car crash. She changed her name to Brenda. The newspapers reporting all of this got David Evans' name wrong. Maybe there was like blood on the license or something. And so it came out David Egan, right?
Blood on the license. That happens all the time.
The David Egan from I Know What You Did Last Summer is still alive, right?
What is that?
That's the twist.
So Ben Willis actually killed somebody else that we don't know, thinking it was David Egan. That's it.
It's great.
No questions.
Right?
Wait, let me take a look.
You nailed it, dude.
There's
Thanks.
no holes.
Solid.
This ain't no Swiss cheese.
Solid.
Conspiracy theory. This is a block
Swiss
of
cheese
blue
sounds good.
cheese.
Crumbly? Stinky? I don't think so.
Moldy.
It's just a nice block of cheddar. How's that?
Nice sharp cheddar, like a sharp knife.
Ooh. Dude, the sharpest. Dude, a white Vermont cheddar that's aged. Ooh, sharp as shit. My favorite.
Sharp as shit.
Sharp as shit.
Y'all
It
have
almost
that
hurts
shit
your
sharp
fucking
cheddar?
mouth. That's how I like my cheese.
I like a stabby cheese.
Yeah.
No, but to bring it back to your conspiracy theory, which again, no holes. I'm into it. I love it.
Thanks.
Because that's the first thing I
what
thought of when they said David Evans. I was like, David Egan.
What I will say is that she obviously does change her identity.
Yeah.
So,
which also, yeah, I support that because she even goes for a very obvious, like, quote unquote, psychotic name because her last name is Bates. Brenda Bates.
Oh, really? Good call.
So it's like she's clearly like hamming it up, like playing the horror movie role.
That's cool.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think of like how else we could
because even like Norman took on like a different persona, just like she did. She came up with a new character, Brenda.
And Psycho is the movie that inspired Halloween, which was Kevin Williamson's favorite movie, who adapted the book into the movie I know you did last summer.
Wow. Look at all that. We're connecting the dots. We need a cork board, guys.
What if Rebecca Gayhart's character, Brenda, is actually Kevin Williamson in drag?
I think that Rebecca Gayhart, I like her performance in this movie a lot. Because she's like, I feel like at this point, if I wouldn't have known that she was the killer, I don't think I would have. She's very good at playing like dumb.
Sure.
What they do, the smart choice that they make in this, I think, is to give her a moment where she gets really pissed off at Natalie.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, she's not the killer. We already saw her kind of like, she's got a motive, you know, like we are, or so we think, like she's kind of being mean or upset. Like she can't be.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of her reveal as the killer, does she kind of put on a little Southern twang at the end? Like, is she faking an accent? I could have sworn that she kind of gets this little, like, accent. Like, she's been hiding it the whole time.
Okay.
Maybe, but I don't remember where she was from.
Yeah, but you'd think it'd be around the same area.
Yeah, it would be because Michelle and Natalie were from there, yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing that I will say is that I want Tara Reid to read lullabies to me. I love her as a radio DJ because I love her voice.
Me too. And she, like us, are kink shaming free.
Yes, not kink shaming. Yes.
She's a non kink shamer.
Yeah, she's non kink shamish.
God, everyone on this campus, all these students are running into so many like very dramatic problems sexually, and then not only that, but are like
college is
letting
where you
people know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you notice that the girl who called in to talk about fellatio was named Felicia?
Was she?
That's funny. Felicia the Fellator. That last call scared me when they were talking about how they were stuck. And he was like, stop clenching. I'm like, what is it? What is happening? If clenching is the only problem, I feel like that's not an issue. But like, I feel like there's more to this. And he is throwing the blame on his partner, which is not okay. So,
yeah.
Also, forgot that Joshua Jackson was in this movie. And I wish that he would have been in it more.
Me too.
Yeah. Once I
could not
remembered that he
agree
was
more.
in it, I was like, oh man, I didn't realize that he died so soon.
Yep.
See, I disagree with that because I love Joshua Jackson and I was glad he's in this movie.
Yes, you did not like his character though.
But I don't like his character. He's like,
I know. I knew you
Totally.
would.
He's a womanizer.
Yeah, he's a dick.
Little punk.
Yeah. And I know like
but
I know that's his character and this and that and it's supposed to be that way. But I just couldn't stand like
No, I'm with you. He captures such a specific like I don't know if it's a stereotype, but I don't know, like caricature of that time. Yeah, with like the bleached blonde hair. He's
Maybe it's his hair.
snowboarding.
Yeah.
You know, like there's so many little. He has like a what do you call it? Like I was gonna say a sports drink, but no, like a Monster Red Bull kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Energy drink.
Energy drink. Which I need because I can't think
sports
of
drink.
A sports. He's gonna go sports drink. he's a likable actor, so you want to see him, but then
I love him.
Yeah.
Pulls the rug out from under you when he plays that type of character.
So do you guys think that Damon actually took out that book?
I don't know. I'd never questioned it. But now I am.
Oh, I think maybe Brenda did it to make it look like.
In the off chance Natalie was to go digging. I could see that.
Good thinking.
Did you notice too that when she opens this book, do you know what the first page that she turns to is?
What?
It's the "Aren't you glad you didn't turn on the light" one, which is the next kill that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to mention the phone from inside the house, but that's right.
I really want to talk about the Tosh or aren't you glad you didn't turn on the light scene because that's amazing. But I don't want to skip over. You had mentioned Damon taking out that book, and I don't want to skip over that awesome Damon death scene with the rope and dragging over the car.
His death is actually referenced in I Know What You Did Last Summer when the characters are sitting on the beach at Dawson's Beach to Dawson reference. And they talk about the urban legend of the scraping of the roof. And they're like, is it feet? Is it the
But
blade?
was that movie
whatever?
made before this?
Yeah, that was in 97, 98, 97. Yes,
90,
it was a year before.
I Know What You Did Last Summer was 97, yeah.
Yeah, because it was the same year as Scream 2, which starred Joshua Jackson.
How traumatic is that though? That if being Natalie, Brenda did a great job.
Killing,
like tormenting someone, or
she went out on a out for a talk with Damon, and he ends up strangled over the car and stuff like that. But then nobody believes her.
Mm-hmm.
So that's super traumatic.
She set the stage really well with that first opening kill.
And then she kills her roommate, which is traumatic, but at the same time could have easily stopped her if she would have just turned on the light, which she didn't do. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure that she harbors some sort of guilt for that as well, which is even more traumatizing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I had noticed in the end of the movie when Natalie kind of ultimately discovers all, that kind of Laurie Strode way, all the bodies are sort of set up and there's all the candles.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Brenda she is kind of all about preparation and aesthetics and setting a tone, which makes sense because she doesn't just kill people. She's killing people with a theme. Everything's kind of themed and, deliberate. And like you said, like she kind of sets everything up so meticulously, which I appreciate because, you could be like, people go back to Halloween and it's like, oh, is Michael, is that his personality or is that just convenient for the story that Laurie finds all these bodies? But in this case, it's established, like her character, like that is who she is. Like from the get, like that's how she kills. That's how she sort of, her whole mastermind plan is very deliberate and meticulous. So it's not just like, I don't know, by accident, I guess.
Yeah, then she probably did take that book out.
Yeah.
Totally. Yep.
Yeah. I just thought about this, and this may be people may have already been talking about this, but you know how, like you said, Michael Myers like does these like theatrics that you don't know if he's actually doing them or if it's just the story. He like never fully developed his brain, right? Because he was like a kid. I'm sure like he was like stunted in his emotional growth. He's probably like playing, like setting up these little things as like, because he like thinks it's fun, like a kid.
Totally.
Yeah. Like setting up the thing with the
do
headstone
build on
and
that
everything.
In the recent ones, especially where like he takes that one copse and like carves his head as a jack-o'-lantern.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I agree. And that's funny because he does have that in the first movie when he comes in dressed up as a ghost with Bob's glasses on. He's kind of just having fun. It's kind of like it's perfect for that movie because he's kind of like really into he kills his sister on Halloween. So like everything he does is sort of like has that Halloween energy, that he's just like kind of being a little, it's like a darkly, he's being fun, but he doesn't realize it's actually very disturbing what he's doing. Or maybe he does. I don't know. Look at us dissecting. What are we taking a class at Professor Wexler's? What do I say?
Yeah, which is the next part of the movie is when they're investigating his office.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's got that parka.
That was a hit.
But I guess that's probably why she bought it.
Yeah.
Right?
She's like, everyone's wearing a parka. I think I'm gonna.
Yeah.
So kids are walking around. Wait, are they all? Is it winter time?
No, but they're still wearing the coats.
Yeah.
Okay, it's fall.
You don't
because
need
like
jacket.
when Brenda's swimming and the other swimmer lady comes in and you think it's the killer because it's all dressed. She's wearing boots, long pants, and a huge parka with the hood on inside a pool house thing, which is probably like hot, right? Those places are usually like stuffy. And then she takes off the jacket and she's just got like her bathing suit on. And it's like,
which you could argue like,
what?
Sure, she's wearing all that stuff fine. But the second you walk in, you are pulling that hood down. You
exactly.
Like,
yes.
You're not revealing yourself. Yeah, that's so funny.
They show like the boots later, and they are definitely not Brenda's feet. Unless she wears like a size 11 in men's.
What if she does?
She just puts a lot of socks on. She wears like
just
5 pairs of wool socks.
Wait, we've established that she's very like she is setting like she's throwing.
It's true.
People off.
Maybe she is.
I mean, she's changed her identity like twice. According
do
to
you
your
think
theory.
do you think that she planted the coat too in Wexler's office?
But then also the janitor has that coat.
Oh, does the janitor? Who also in the credits is credited as creepy janitor.
Oh,
that's cute.
Just gonna
poor guy. Wait, when does he wear the
throw
coat?
that out there.
It's in the janitor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's in his car when Natalie gets in the car with him. She like looks and she's like, "Oh shit."
Oh yeah. Okay. No, just a popular parka. Okay.
So popular.
I mean, it is just a black coat. With
I could have
hood.
appreciated since the movie opens up on literally like rain. I wonder why they didn't just do like a classic like rain. Maybe it was too similar to I Know You Did Last Summer.
Yeah, because that had just come out, I think, the year before. So they probably were like,
and Brenda knows that her
eh?
Brenda, who's really Susan Willis, knows that her dad wears a slicker, and so she's like,
it's too obvious.
She's rebelling against her parents.
Yeah, she needs to be a little bit different.
But Tasha's death scene, the "Aren't you glad you didn't turn on the light?" is such an amazing like setup payoff thing because you get that scene in the beginning where she's like having sex and she's like, "Turn off the light." Oh man, and then she's just like right there and she's stuck.
I love setups that aren't obvious. Like some are kind of winky, and that one doesn't wink at you. Like we don't know we're going to return to that or that it's significant, and then it is.
Are you laughing because he said some are kind of winky?
Well, because I'm thinking about somebody having sex and like,
oh, you're winky.
You know, holes wink and stuff. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like winky being like a term for a penis.
No, like buttholes wink and vaginas wink.
Buttholes wink.
So, you know, you're like, oh, she's winking at me. Her ass is winking at me.
How do they wink?
It's called, you can, okay, this is going to make me seem like I've got all this shit going on, which I don't, but you guys know what Kegels are.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so
you're
if I were to do that right now, I'd be winking at you.
Oh God, I love this podcast.
I'm sorry.
Good lordy.
Anyway.
All right, so speaking of buttholes winking.
Yeah.
Okay. I would be remiss to ignore the introduction of the movie's best character, Reese, the school's security guard, when she's introduced watching Pam Grier and Coffee. And she's like trying to.
Oh, was she?
Like,
I couldn't. I didn't know what she was watching. I was thinking that it was Jackie Brown.
Yeah, no,
and Jackie Brown.
Of Jackie Brown. Yeah. And I love that she kind of has her Pam Grier moment in the end when she's like a little badass. When spoiler alert, Brenda Bates is like, eeny, meeny, miny. And then she's like, Mo. She fires the gun. Or does she fire the gun, or does she?
She fires the gun and then she says Mo as she
That's right.
falls back down. I think.
She did not do a great job though as campus security.
She
at
tried.
First, I will say
The powers that be made it really difficult for her to do her job, like the dean.
Yeah.
I did like though that they established the dean as being totally opposed to everything Natalie's saying, but then when he goes to get into his car, he has to check the back seat.
Yeah.
And then literally seconds later, Reese comes over and is like, we should, like put out a warning. And he's like, why? It's like, dude, you were just being all, paranoid. Ugh.
And then he checks it again.
Yep.
Right after that.
Yep. And then he gets the
see any
ankles.
Real cops in this movie?
No.
We hear them.
We hear
phone,
them.
Yeah.
Okay.
She calls them and they're like,
interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
That there are all of these murders and
that was a fun way to they did that really well when Paul goes to call the police. They're like, call the police. And he's like, I already tried that. The dean already was ahead of me said that expect some prank calls. And he even gave him our names. And I was like, oh, that's such a fun way to
it is
to be like, why aren't the cops here? It's like, because of
Paul should have known though. He should have called the cops when they're like, what's your name? He's like,
Joe Morganson.
David Bigglesberg.
Jack Mehoff.
Seymour
Winking
Butts.
Oh God. I have a question about Paul and Natalie as in their detective skills, right?
Don't we all?
Okay. So they find out this killer, they're both on board that this killer is using urban legends as their setup. Then she says, oh, I know why they're doing this. This is the 25th anniversary of the Stanley Hall massacre. That's why she's doing this. And then Paul says, I told you that story wasn't true. And right there, they should have been like, oh, it's an urban legend. The killer is basing all these kills off urban legends. And this 25th anniversary of this massacre is an urban legend. Oh, so it does make sense that they're doing this tonight.
And that Wexler would be the first prime suspect.
But then they go on this crazy goose chase to be to find out if it really happened or I don't know. It's just
did it not really happen?
I see what you're saying though. I think what he's saying is it's irrelevant. It's the fact that it was an urban legend and that there are deaths that are mirroring urban legends.
So that was an urban legend.
But it might have. The fact that Paul is saying it wasn't.
Yeah.
But then she thinks it was. It's that uncertainty.
The fact that he says, the fact that he says, basically, in so many words, it's an urban legend, would make it all the more, would make it, make so much more sense for that killer to be doing it on this 25th anniversary. And they should have been like, oh, okay.
And also because their next step is to investigate Professor Wexler, who teaches a class on urban legends. It could have been just a little bit of to rein it in, to tighten it up and make it more kind of on the nose. They could have just said that. I think that's a great point.
That's all. I mean, I just was it didn't take me out of the story or anything, but I just noticed it. And
Done.
I was like,
I will never watch this movie again.
I turned it off right after that.
Yep, I'm done.
I don't even know
I actually don't want to finish this episode.
There's some cool kills in this movie.
There are. There actually was one that I had to fast forward, though.
Was it the one at the party?
Yeah. With the microwave.
With the Drano?
Oh, you were talking about the dog.
I don't like that one.
DoesTheDogDie.com.
Yeah, I don't like that. I literally...
But how much did that man care about his dog if he was giving him beer bongs and he had a fucking nose ring in?
Yeah,
the
they were
dog had
not
a
nice to that
nose ring?
dog.
Yeah. The dog had a separate.
See, I fast forwarded it because I didn't want to watch that.
Yeah, I actually completely forgot about the dog in the microwave scene. It's one of the things that I
couldn't do it. I
completely
can't
forgot
watch
about.
it. Also, Brewster was with me when I was watching it, and he was like, "Can we not?"
Yeah.
Cover your
like
eyes,
that.
Brewster.
Yeah. We do have a great. I think we are sort of ignoring the fact that we have this really wonderful cameo, I guess, from Freddy Krueger himself.
Yeah, we haven't really
Robert
talked about him at all.
Yeah, we mentioned Brad Dourif earlier, who plays Chucky, aka Charles Lee Ray, but we have Robert Englund, who plays Fred Krueger, in a kind of important role because he is kind of like the prime suspect for a while because he teaches a class on urban legends.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was like scanning his office for like some kind of like Easter egg to do with Freddy Krueger, like in all his artifacts and stuff that he had, props that he had laying around.
You didn't see anything?
I didn't
Nothing?
find anything. No.
Oh man.
He's got like on his mantle or something, there's like 5 pictures of like hands in different positions, but that was the closest thing I could come to.
Freddy wears a glove. There's a hand.
There's a hand. Solid.
There it is.
Brenda plants Wexler in the back of Paul's car.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which I'm not gonna lie to you, they wouldn't have been able to smell him that quick, but that's okay.
That's funny.
I don't know. Oh, really? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Casey, why do you know that?
Longer than because I listen to a lot of true crime stuff.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all.
Okay. Wink.
But now Zach's never gonna be able to hear wink again without
Hey, we all clench our butts.
So they plant Wexler in the back of Paul's car, and then they all start running, right? Well, Brenda and Natalie start running through that field.
Yeah, because he goes in to like call somebody, and they smell him, so they get back, and then he looks out the window, and they take off.
Yep.
Yeah, because the power's out at his house or whatever. So she's like, "Why don't you stop here?"
And
Was it Brenda's idea to stop?
Ooh, I don't
remember.
No.
Yeah.
Wait, to stop where?
At the gas station.
Oh, probably because
It was.
So that she could do that whole thing.
Yeah.
They get out of the car and they start running.
And then they
to
get
campus.
separated. And we hear Brenda
Brenda's
screaming.
just screaming.
Paul's crying out. But Brenda's screaming because she's stressing. She's looking for hairspray because if you notice in that final scene, her hair is so voluminous. It is so large. So I understand her stress in this.
It's almost like it could be like a scary movie thing where like every time Brenda's on screen, her hair gets a little bit bigger, and then at the end, her hair is like really big.
Well, no, they ran whatever, and Brenda was screaming. Was she already in the
hairspray
dorm room? Yeah,
first,
the hairspray.
the first scream is when they're in the woods. Second scream is when she's in the dorm.
Was she laying there?
Yeah.
Yes, we think she's dead or hurt.
Okay, that's right. I couldn't remember exactly. Yeah, that's how she lured her in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, very like Judith Myers kind of, the headstone for Judith Myers. But when is it Annie? No, not Annie. It's Linda, who's like laid out on the bed. Or is it Annie who's laid out on the bed?
See, this is what throws me off because I always think Annie is the one with the blonde hair.
That's Linda.
That's Linda.
Annie gets stuck in the...
Annie's the dark hair?
Annie, yeah,
Annie's
she gets
the one
stuck
who's
in the laundry room and gets killed in the car.
Then she's the one who's sprawled out with the headstone.
Okay. So Brenda's kind of laying on that bed, like sprawled out, like her, which was fun. And so so they have this whole like confrontation, and then Paul like comes around the corner and claps his hands like real slow. Was he there the whole time and just like listening?
I don't know. But this is also the part where Brenda reveals to her that, hey, you guys killed my teenage boyfriend who was clearly in his 30s but was actually in high school.
Mm-hmm. I think you got duped, Brenda.
Yeah. He was a pedophile. Okay.
I love that she's literally... I also love that she goes, I have a visual aid. Because they had to justify the fact that she literally has a visual aid.
Oh, yeah, because she had a slideshow.
A projector and everything. Oh, my God.
And, Natalie and Michelle, the girl who died in the beginning, they were doing the gang initiation.
Mm-hmm.
with their lights off. Brenda's boyfriend flashes lights, trying to be a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
They turn around, they drive real fast behind him, which for some reason caused this guy to have an accident.
Yeah, I don't understand. So like in my life, if there's like some kind of thing, like if I'm driving down the highway and a car like swerves or does like I don't like slam, like some people like slam on their brakes, which causes more trouble. But like I'll slow down.
Me too.
These people don't do that.
No.
Nobody in this movie world does that.
Plays by human rules.
No.
Michelle Mancini, the friend of Natalie, who's the opening kill, who's like literally the reason why all of this is happening. I think she is the true, well, okay, this is not my real monster choice, but like she's the monster. You know, Brenda at least has a motive. You know, it's revenge.
Yeah.
Is she take it a little too far? Yes. Should she kill people? No. But like she has a motive. Michelle is like, yo, we should go out tonight and like
ruin some lives.
Potentially kill people. You know, like let's just like flash our beams and then just like run them off the road.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This whole like revelation with Brenda, like I don't agree with her. I think she took it a little too far, but at least she has something to sort of build off of. Michelle sort of like laid the groundwork out of pure like selfish deviance.
Yeah.
Yep. And then, like you said earlier, Reese kills.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
She doesn't kill Brenda. Does she?
We think she does.
Oh,
she does.
Brenda has 2 fake outs in this movie.
That's why I said
she
Jack,
falls off a building.
She does
and
change
she
her
falls
identity.
off a bridge. She still is like totally fine.
I love the end of this movie.
Yeah, it's fun.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And she's kind of dressed like a Scooby-Doo character, which is interesting.
They are all dressed like Scooby-Doo characters.
They are.
I made a note that they're like the style is so funny.
It's clearly like it has to be like a parody of, because I made a note of that too. It's like these college kids. I'm like, what is going on here with these kids?
Maybe they were looking like a couple years down the road. They're like, let's think, what are college kids going to be wearing 3
Casey,
years
that's
from
literally what I thought. I was like, are they assuming this is where style and fashion is going? Because it was like just a little off, but it was of that time.
Yeah.
That's
so
gosh.
funny.
Yeah. And they were just, and even like the way like the main character of that group, but like the guy who's like telling the story.
Yeah.
He was so like, I don't want to say animated, but he like had this, just the way he was acting was like goofy.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was like they were drawing attention to them in a way that didn't need that much like kind of detail.
Yeah.
Because it almost kind of was like triggering you to be like, oh, what's going on? Nothing. Like nothing's going on with them. Like there's no reason to focus on them.
Yeah, and so like you look at the group of friends in like the main group of friends in the movie, and their outfits are just kind of like, you know,
generic and basic.
The colors
of the time.
are kind of dark and
neutral.
Basic and this. But then you get this other group, and each one is like very specifically like making a choice, like a stylistic choice.
Very Malibu's Most Wanted.
Yes.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, if they would have just like blended into like the furniture, you know what I mean? It kind of would have made that impact a little bit, the impact of like Brenda coming back.
Because you're so focused on them.
Yeah.
And like what is happening? Like what's gonna like, oh, and if Brenda kind of gets, maybe that's the goal, is like Brenda's supposed to get lost and everything, but
yeah. And she just has to one up
much.
them with her like scarf, her like neck scarf thing.
Yeah. She straightened her hair. She is, yeah.
Oh yeah, and the other girl looks like, okay, yeah, I'm rewatching the scene because it's just too funny not to. And the other girl has like glasses like Daphne. Or is it Velma that has glasses?
Velma, yeah, Velma. She has like the short like bangs. She has the glasses.
Yep.
So very Velma. And then you have Daphne, who's got like the purple, like bright purple outfit, and the more like kind of, she's got the hair.
Yep.
Man.
Yeah.
And then Kevin Williamson goes and does. Did he do Scream? Did he write Scream 3, or was that where he took a break?
He did the treatment for Scream 3, but
The
then
treatment.
Aaron Kruger did the treatment.
Okay, because that's very Scooby Dooey.
Totally.
That's
I
weird.
wonder if any of these people could see her face. And it's funny because, yeah, she was wearing that thing the whole time that was like, in Scooby-Doo, they always take the mask off the bad guy. But I wonder if any of them saw her face at all. Or knew.
Which ones?
When she was killing them.
Oh, right.
I wonder if they knew who was.
For most of the movie, I thought she was just like, it was just like a deep hood. Like her head was like so far back in the hood that you couldn't see her face like under shadow. But then later, there's a scene where you kind of see like, it's almost like she has like a ski mask on and you just see like eyes really quickly.
A balaclava.
You notice that especially when she's driving, when the janitor is driving with Natalie and they kind of have like the little like road rage moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see Brenda's eyes, but it's all black, kind of suggesting, like you said, like she's wearing a ski mask.
Mm-hmm.
Is that supposed to be like a
know.
deep reference to the fact that Damon was going skiing that weekend?
Yeah, probably.
She's like, I'm really going to put the attention on Damon. He checked out the urban legend book. I'm wearing a ski mask and maybe the parka that he would have worn snowboarding. It's a deep cut. We all missed it. I do want to comment on the fact that I love in that like final moment where you think Brenda's dead, but then she comes back and she's in the back seat after Paul is like, if this is an urban legend, like when do we get to the twist?
Yeah.
The fact that they are kind of like redoing the opening scene, but it's a little messier. I don't know. I just thought that was fun. Like she likes that urban legend, like that's like maybe her favorite. The fact that she's doubling down on it.
So that's urban legend.
That's urban legend.
That's it.
Do you guys want to talk about our favorite reveals?
Yeah.
Let's do it. There's a few, and I like just ones that I've noted. Like you get the very first one is fun in the back seat because she's raising up between all the lightning flashes, and I kind of wanted it to be like lightning flash goes dark, lightning flash, bam, she's there. Yeah. But it is just like a slow raise, which is still really cool. But there's that. There's the Damon in the woods where she like he goes out to like he takes a hike to go pee, which is just fucking pee. Like I don't know why you went,
especially for his character.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. But she does. There's like a little jump scare because she comes around him with the rope.
Got me.
There's the fun Tosh 0.0 reveal. We'll call it Tosh 0.0 because she's on instant messenger and she's like, what room are you in? And then she goes to check her makeup and comes back and it says yours. And for some reason it's like flashing. It's like yours.
Oh yeah.
And then she gets like attacked. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah. Did you guys know on instant messenger you could do that? Like on iPhones when you send things, balloons, same thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It was way ahead of its time.
There's the reveal to the dean in the parking lot, which I fucking hate. They do it in Child's Play 3, and they do it in a few other movies.
You just hate the actual
God, I forgot.
Slicing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love it.
The knife on the I'm not even going to say it, but he comes out. Yeah. She comes out from under the car. Don't say it.
It hurts.
Please.
It hurts. I'm rubbing my area.
Your area. That sounds much better than the word, Danny.
I can't even look at you.
I'm rubbing my area.
God.
Oh my God. There's a good one with Tara Reid, which we kind of skipped over her whole scene, but
we did, yeah.
Where she's in the radio booth and her like producer or something gets killed.
Oh, that's a great kill
behind her,
and it's quiet, and yeah.
And then you get a cool, which I think we saw earlier in the movie with the axe when she cuts Michelle's head off. The axe comes through the glass, but we get another one of those when she swings the axe through the radio soundproof glass, which is fun. And then we get one where she sits up in bed where we find out that she's the killer.
Yeah.
And then the one in the back seat again with Paul and Natalie. Those are the ones that I noted.
Yeah.
There is one when Parker gets killed, but that all just like happens so fast.
Yeah. In the bathroom.
Yeah. It's funny. That doesn't it feel like things were cut from that whole sequence?
Well, I noticed something about the editing because it was very fun editing. Like at that point throughout the house, like they're using like a lot of wide angles, and you get the crazy colors just from the aesthetic like a music of the house. Video. Yeah, and then there's like quick zooms and whips and this and that, and like close-ups on the Drano and this and that, and it's very cool editing. So yeah, I don't know. They chopped it up, but I think it looks pretty cool.
Not unlike Brenda.
What was your favorite?
But my favorite is Tosh.0. What room are you in? Yours, scene. Bam. Because I love that scene in general, and that it's a creepy.
I like that, and we've established that Brenda is like that isn't like a cheap entrance or convenient. Like we know that she actually does like set these moments up very deliberately.
One question though, where was she typing that from? This is still the time of dial-up internet.
Tosh left to go to the bathroom to do her makeup.
They might be in the same dorm.
So she went in and was like...
So she could have typed it and then hid.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Unless... Because if it was a response, it would have shown up in the other column. So maybe she typed it, ran in really quickly. And for all we know, Brenda's room is like right next to Natalie's. Maybe that's why they're friends.
Yeah.
They should have established that. That would have been a nice little just tighten it all up.
Because then how did she, I just assumed that Natalie told her friend Brenda the story of what happened when she walked in on Tosh. But
I'm sure she knows all about it.
Right. Yeah. She probably my
roommate always,
Yeah.
She's always fucking.
She be fucking. She loves
She be fucking.
She be fucking. Danny, what's your favorite reveal?
So, no surprise here. My favorite reveal is actually not of... I'm breaking some rules. I know if this counts. But it's not really the monster. But it is a reveal of the actor Robert Englund, who plays Freddy Krueger, who is the ultimate monster. And I love the way that he's revealed when they are sneaking into his office and the door opens up. And he's just standing there with his arms crossed, just staring at them.
Does Danny remember the whole scene earlier in the movie with the pop rocks?
What?
But it's like a reveal.
Revealed that he's there, I think he means.
The monster.
Gotcha.
Like maybe he's the bad guy. Like I said,
okay, I gotcha.
Okay, so that's like my fun little cheat. But if we are to go with like the favorite reveals, I'm going to go with your choice, Zach, of Tosh's kill in the bedroom, because I do think that was like the most exciting moment.
Okay. Casey?
Mine is the opening scene.
Okay.
Because I feel like, first of all, it'd be a really big surprise if I didn't know. I mean, I guess he yells that she's in the back seat, or that there's somebody in the back seat, but still at that moment you're like, whoa, what?
It's all happening so fast.
But also, I did remember this part of the movie, but I didn't remember how long it took. And I also didn't remember her stopping at the gas station. So like the whole time she's in the car, I'm like, oh, when's it coming? And it just kept me on my toes.
Nice.
That's fun.
Nice.
Just goes to show this movie has a lot of good reveals.
Yeah.
There is this sense of like this movie feeling very epic, but still intimate in a lot of like the crane shots that they have, especially in the opening scene, where it makes the movie feel so much bigger than it is, which makes, as an extension, makes that opening scene feel so much more memorable just from like the way it's shot. It makes it feel bigger and more like important, which I think just really helps. So
I mean, it's almost like you get the same kind of aerial shots of like, even in, I know what you did last summer, like driving off the cliff and this, but this is more like in the woods and you get the the helicopter shot and all that. But I love the music in this. At the Christopher Young
you had
score at the
mentioned
beginning.
Christopher Young.
Oh my god!
We should point out this is the guy who composed Hellraiser and Drag Me to Hell. You know, like he is a horror staple and creates really wonderful, very beautiful horror scores that I hope are as celebrated as they should be.
Yeah.
Now it's time for a segment that we like to call The Real Monster.
Run, run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. You're a monster. I'm not the monster here. You are. You and the rest of that fairy tale trash poisoning my perfect world. Now tell me, where are the others? Eat me.
My real monster is drivers who are not paying attention. This is in direct reference to Michelle Mancini, our opening kill. And I say this because she is on dead E on her tank.
Yeah.
Which it almost looks like looks like maybe Brenda like punctured the gas tank or something, because that
like,
I've never seen like a thing like drop so fast.
Which that's a great point. I never noticed. Maybe she did do that.
But why would she have wanted her to stop?
Oh, that's a good point. For the
I mean,
drama.
maybe, but
she needed Brad Dourif. She's like, was that Brad Dourif? I didn't get to say there's someone in the back seat. You should notice that you're on E, but you should especially notice you're on E when you're driving past a gas station, because she drives past that like kind of commercial gas station. And I feel like just instinctively you would just look down at your gas gauge and be like, oh, I should stop. But she doesn't. So she's just totally not there.
No.
Does she deserve to die because of that? No.
Oh, no. Okay. I was going to say she got what's coming to her, but
according to Casey, yeah. But that, just pay attention, y'all.
Okay. I've got Tara Reid, and I know that's kind of mean, but I just have Tara Reid in general. I've got the girl making fun of dead Tosh at the door, saying about her pulse, whatever. But really, I think my number one real monster is Michelle Mancini's patience when she pulls up to the gas station in the pouring down rain.
God.
And she's there for like 2 seconds and she lays on the horn.
What a boo.
She's not a nice person.
Come on. No.
Also got what was coming to her. Oh, wait. Same person.
For 2 reasons.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot that gas stations like that ever existed.
Oh, really?
Where people came and pumped your gas for you.
If you live in New Jersey, it's illegal to pump your own gas.
Yeah.
What?
Why? You have to have the attendant come out and pump for you. And they've got like a whole system down with multiple attendants and all that stuff. And it's kind of pisses me off too. And I won't go off on too far of a tangent, but like it's expected that you tip them.
Yeah. So you're not only paying for super expensive gas.
Yeah. And it makes me mad because like if I went to that in like Pennsylvania, if I went to a full service station and so that I didn't have to get out of the car and they'd pump my gas, here's a tip. But if it's the law that I'm not allowed to pump my own gas, that makes me mad that I have to tip them.
Yeah. I would understand. Yeah. Because I would get out and pump my own gas if I could.
Exactly.
New Jersey's the real monster.
New Jersey is the real monster. That's what I was going to say, Danny. So first of all, when Natalie was trying to figure out where Damon went, she called the ski lodge. Okay. And there was a very nice woman on the phone that was willing to help her. And Natalie just fucking hung up on her.
She did.
Yeah, she was being so helpful.
Rude. She said, I don't know. I can try and leave a message. And she just bloop.
Oh my God.
Come on, bitch.
Yeah.
That was so rude.
The 90s.
Okay. So we talked about like the lack of police officers in this movie. So I'm just going to say the investigation in general. How many kids have to die before something is done? And also, I'm just going to say, if there's 2 murders that are both based off of urban legends, they're connected.
Yeah.
They're connected. Also, if you think that Tosh killed herself, how the fuck was she bleeding out on her bed and then able to get up and write, "Aren't you glad you didn't turn on the light?"
It's so
Right.
true.
That's outrageous.
When the dean is like,
these
a morbid suicide note.
Yeah, yeah. And then,
From a
and then after
ghost?
that,
Like, what are you talking about? Like,
yeah. It's terrible.
All right. Well, that is all the time we have for Urban Legend. If you guys have anything else to add about Urban Legend or any of its sequels, or if you know of a good urban legend that you want to share with us, reach out to us. Find us on Twitter at I Met Your Monster and on Facebook and Instagram at How I Met Your Monster. Or you can send us an email to Zach at How I Met Your Monster. Tell us your favorite urban legend, and we will read it on our next episode. But speaking of our next episode, we need your help, listeners, because we don't know what monster to meet. But we've narrowed it down to 3. 3 films which we would love to talk about their monsters. So, should we meet the Headless Horseman of Sleepy Hollow? Should we meet John Doe from 7? Or should we meet the titular babysitter in The Babysitter? Check out our social media. Instagram and Twitter will have a poll listed there. And go ahead and vote and tell us what we should cover next. We want to know what you want to hear about. Speaking of social media, where can our listeners find you guys on social media?
I am on Instagram at WolfMotherCasey.
and I'm on Instagram and Twitter at Danny Salem. It's just my name, Danny. Last name, Salemme. 2 M's like the candy. Melt in your butt, not in your hands.
Wonderful. And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Zach Winsick. Thank you all for listening. Now go meet some monsters.
Did you guys hear that urban legend about that monster that they met?
What monster?
They just met this monster. It was on a podcast, I think.
I think he winks.
They called him the butt winker.